Okay, on June 27th, 2016, I had a dream. I was waiting tables, and my section was off in its own little room in the restaurant. And the hostess had come to me and said, "You're getting a party at 12, and only a few of them are here. We're waiting for them all to be together before we seat them." And I said, "Oh, okay, no problem." And it was the beginning of my shift, and I was just getting ready and getting my section set up. And so an older woman came toward me with a man following. They were an older, seemed to be a couple, but I wasn't really sure. Um, and it was just us in the room. It was empty. Like I said, it was the beginning of my shift, and um, she came up to my little wait station, and she had her cell phone in her hand, and she came up to me and she said. She asked me if I could call a number for her. And I said, "Sure, what's the number?" And she said, "I gave it to you." And I said, "Well, I don't have the number." And then she said, well, she looked down at her cell phone in her hand and she said, "How do I call out on this?" And I kind of, I thought that was odd. And she said, "How do I call out on this? What's the button I push?" And she pointed to her cell phone. And so I'm watching the man with her, and I'm not really seeing any reaction or emotion from him one way or the other. And I'm starting to wonder if she's got maybe a form of dementia or she's disoriented in some way, but I'm not getting any cues from him one way or the other what's going on. He's just standing there blank faced. Um, so I'm trying to be patient and helpful, and she keeps insisting that she's given me the number and she wants me to call it. And I'm like, "Ma'am, I don't have the number. I'll happily call it for you if you just give me the number." And it's escalating and she's screaming at me. And I'm not sure how I'm supposed to help her without the phone number. And she's screaming at me and it's causing a scene. And I'm like trying to keep her calm, but at the same time, I'm losing my patience. I'm like, "I don't have the number." And this goes back and forth for a few minutes, and um, I, even though I knew something wasn't right, I started raising my voice, and finally I just lost it. And the instant I lost it, my boss came in, okay? As soon as I yelled at her, and as soon as I yelled at her, I felt this sense of embarrassment, not because my boss came in, but because you're not, just because I yelled at her and I don't really understand what's going on, and I'm yelling at a woman and I can't figure out what's happening, and I lost my cool. I was like horrified that I behaved that way. Um, and my boss was kind of looking at us like, "What's going on?" And he was just paying attention, and he eventually figured out that something wasn't right and what was happening. And but the whole part of the dream, once I yelled at her, I was just horrified. I felt ashamed, embarrassed, um, just terrible. And the group still decided, after all calmed down, the group still decided to sit in my room with me. But then they did something odd. They all sat at different tables. Three of them sat at a foretop in one area. Another three sat at a foretop all the way the opposite side of the room, and six of them sat in a line at a six top. They didn't even sit opposite each other to talk to one another. They sat in a line and faced the wall while they ate. And I waited on them, and it was slightly, I mean, they were nice. Everyone was fine. No one was yelling at me, but it was awkward because now I was horrified. And I just found it very peculiar that they chose to sit that way, and I don't know. I'm really not sure, but the whole takeaway of the dream was that I yelled at her, and I was horrified by it, by what I had done. Not regardless of what she did, I snapped, and I was horrified by that. I was so ashamed that I lost my cool and I yelled. I felt like I kind of got baited. Not that she did it on purpose, but that, like, like I've been saying, you're not supposed to fight with one another, or, you're just supposed to be calm. And so, anyway, that's the end of that dream.